Top 5 influential JDM cars of the world. Before the JDM car cult explosion, these cars were typically laughed at and even considered inferior to its counterparts. However, there were significant JDM cars that changed the stigma and even created a generation of JDM car enthusiasts. Without these influential JDM cars, modern car culture will be totally different today. In this video, we explore significant JDM cars which have made a huge influence to the car enthusiasts all over the world. And in no particular order, we start with Number 5. The Nissan 240Z. When Nissan was trying to make a mark in the USA in the 1960s, they immediately noticed that Americans prefer one thing: big capacity engine for performance cars. With European influence styling and sporting an inline-six engine, the 240Z was created. It has been a very successful JDM due to the modern engineering at that time, like roll-down windows, which was standard from factory. Apart from that, it was relatively low priced but superior in quality within its price range. The 240Z has been considered to be one of the influential JDM sports car since, without the 240Z back then, most Japanese sports cars might not happen. Come to think of it, it was actually the 240Z which made the Americans open up their minds to go for Japanese-made performance cars. On top of that, you can really see the influence of the 240Z on the new Nissan Z, as Nissan is wanting the new Z to be another success of the current generation of JDM car enthusiasts. Number 4. Toyota Supra Mark IV, aka JZA80, aka You Owe Me a 10-second car, aka 2JZ.
2JZ engine, no shit.
Well, you get it. The Mark IV was never really known for its racing pedigree, apart from the Castrol Supra. However, it was highly influential due to its bulletproof 2JZ GTE engine. This engine is very well known to tuners or tuner-crazed individuals like 12 years old of current generation. I mean, who can blame them? With basic bolt-ons, the 2JZ GTE could easily make the 800 horsepower mark. It is an over-engineered inline-six engine, or basically a god-tier engine. With tons of people modifying their Supra and specifically making it single-turbo monsters, it is safe to say that most JDM car enthusiasts would essentially pick a turbo setup, mostly due to the Supra. Apart from that, the JZA80's design is purely a 90s nostalgia and has influenced several JDM cars from different manufacturers like the Mitsubishi FTO and the rear of the 350Z. Number 3. Honda NSX. In the 80s, supercars like the Ferrari Testarossa and Lamborghini Countach were a symbol of success and pride. Bruh. But most of those cars were only good for driving during the weekend, as they would often break down and they were expensive. In short, reliability got lost in translation when making those supercars. Honda changed that with the introduction of their halo car, the NSX. Apart from being reliable, it was also affordable and fast, with 0 to 60 in less than 6 seconds, which ultimately was considered fast by that time. Most importantly, this JDM icon was so influential due to paving the way of incorporating VTEC technology on a V6 engine platform. What is VTEC? Basically a rage mode on your gas saver engine. VTEC was so revolutionary, most of the competitors made their own version. Also, this was the first all-aluminum production car with its design heavily influenced by Ayrton Senna, a famous F1 car race driver. Now while you're enjoying the car drift, why don't you hit the like button so we get that boost? Alright, let's go back to Number 2. Toyota AE86 Corolla. Back in the 80s again, where most car platforms were shifting to front-wheel drive, or otherwise referred to as the wrong-wheel drive, basically to reduce production and maintenance costs. Unfortunately, Toyota has not been saved with that transition. However, before they shifted the Corolla to a front-wheel drive platform, they introduced special editions of the Corolla and retained a rear-wheel drive platform. This little Corolla was famous in the drifting car community. However, it was not the prime reason why it became influential. It was primarily due to a well-known Japanese anime, Initial D, where the AE86 was piloted by the main protagonist of the story. It simply was the underdog in the story and defeated far more powerful cars. I mean, come on. Who doesn't like an underdog story? Furthermore, it is owned by the legendary drift king Keiichi Tsuchiya, who popularized drifting and the two-gate type racing, aka mountain pass racing, with his iconic Green Hood 86. And yes, he was also the main technical director for the anime and was even on the show. I mean, the series was loosely based off his own experience on Japanese street racing. If you search through YouTube videos, you can even see Tsuchiya driving an AE86, keeping up with an R34 GTR Skyline on the 2K. Now with the success of Initial D, it paved way to a global AE86 cult. Post-production of the AE86, Toyota heard and listened from the outcry of enthusiasts wanting the rear-wheel drive 86 to be back. And on 2012, Toyota released the GT86, which is officially a spiritual successor of the infamous AE86 Corolla. And hey, you can even see them promoting the GR86 with this channel. Number 1. The Daewoo Racer.
This is your unmarked car?
We found her.
A Daewoo? Man, I know people. I can't be seen in this thing.
Just kidding guys, it's actually the R34 GTR Skyline. Not only famous on the racing scene from its previous generations, the R34 GTR Skyline is pretty much well known to JDM car enthusiasts worldwide. It's basically a god tier JDM sports car. It has so much hype surrounding it, I don't even know where to start. All I can say, the R34 GTR Skyline is a highly influential JDM sports car due to the Fast and Furious series, and most specifically a hero car driven by the late Paul Walker, aka Brian Earl Spillner. Outside of Fast and Furious, the R34 is also famous within the tuning world as it has unlimited potential due to its inline-6 turbo engine, the RB26 DETT, an all-wheel drive platform with a rear-wheel drive bias, so you can do those sweet fat skips. Apart from its performance, the BNR34 timeless design is so iconic as it retained the somewhat boxy design of the 80s but was perfectly executed under the 90s trend.
I didn't like it.
I loved it.
The R34 GTR Skyline is so influential it carried the design cues like the taillights to the next generation of the GTR. Not only that, the R34 is way cooler than the newer R35. Would you agree on me on that? Speaking of the Skyline, did you know that there are rare factory colors for the Skylines? Yes, the car itself is rare, but if you have these colors, it's going to catapult the value of that car. You can watch it in this video right here, and we'll see you guys over there.